What's up, gamers? DreamcastGuy here, talking today about Starfield because this is now officially the most hated Bethesda game of all time. Now, today we're going to be taking a look at the raw numbers and a bunch of other Bethesda games because it's just kind of strange that this random space exploration game is so controversial. It's only been out for like a month, and yet it's just getting tens of thousands of negative reviews and positive reviews, and people trying to claim it's haters or review bombing or saying Sony ponies want the game to fail. So let's take a look at the actual digits and measure if this is the worst. Is this truly a failure on the part of Team Xbox? Let's discuss. Hi, hope you're having a great day. If you could like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. So I saw this morning, and I'll be honest, it seems like it's kind of pissing off a huge chunk of the internet, but Starfield has officially dropped below Fallout 76 on Steam database. It is now the lowest rated Bethesda game ever. Now, in case you don't know it, Steam database is just an aggregate system. It sort of like scans different games and tells you how many people are playing it, how many people are buying it, how many people are loving it. And right now, 71% of players are enjoying Starfield. Now, the reason this is just kind of a baffling number is because you can compare that to other games. It has technically fallen below Fallout 76. Now, part of the reason this is just so baffling to me is that Fallout 76 sucks. I know it got better with time. They did a lot of free expansions and improved it and patched it, but the initial rollout of Fallout 76 is so universally hated that I'm surprised they managed to even bring it back up to a 70. Now, part of what's fascinating about this to me is that this is Steam reviews. Steam reviews are purely done by people who have bought the game. This is not just random haters on the internet. This isn't just some jerks screaming on some forum. This is paid customers talking about their own experience, positive or negative. Now, if we actually take a look at something like Metacritic reviews, these are like famous critics. Right now, there is still an overall positive Metacritic. It's an 84. It keeps going down bit by bit. It was originally like an 87. It seems like every couple of weeks it goes down another point. But if you compare it to something like, obviously, Fallout 76's Metacritic is still hard stuck at a 49. This is so interesting to me, though, because this is showing the current taste. This is how people are currently viewing the state of Starfield. And it seems like, for the most part, people are just really not connecting with it very much. Now, I know that some people are having a blast. I definitely see a small section of the internet that's claiming that Starfield is the best game ever. They don't mind that there isn't much to do, and it's kind of just a game where you build spaceships and then float around in orbit. You can't even directly fly to planets. You just fast travel from place to place. But some people enjoy that. Some people like the fact that it is just a Fallout 4 DLC expansion out in the solar system. That's enough for them. I have said this before, and I will say it again. I'm glad that everybody is enjoying Starfield more than I did. When I reviewed it, I gave it a 7 out of 10, which would technically classify it as a positive review. I'm glad that a lot of people are definitely enjoying it more than I did. Now, one of the weird conspiracy theories I see popping up is people are claiming that this number is a lie. This is review bombing. As someone who spends a lot of time playing and covering Starfield, I know this rating is far from being an accurate representation. Starfield is an awesome game and one of Bethesda's best. Now, I had to reply to this. No hate on Reb. I actually think Mr. Rebs is a great friend, but he said that this is review bombing. In order to review this game, you have to have bought it. The game itself is $70, so you're claiming that all these hundreds and thousands, like literally 10,000, I think it has like 20,000 negative reviews. What is it? Yeah, so it has, here we go, yeah, 20,000 negative reviews. So a decent chunk of negative reviews here. You're claiming that all of these people paid $70 for the game just to pretend it sucks. All these people saying it's a snooze fest. It's amazing to me that the people who gave us the characters I loved most are now making characters that are just some of the worst. Look at this. Ships are completely useless. There is no space exploration. Inventory management is horrible. Multiple fast travels and loading screens are required to go anywhere. Look at that. Look at this acronym. This is actually pretty good. Remember the Bethesda acronym. Boring quests, empty worlds, terrible exploration, horrible optimization, embarrassing writing, soulless characters, dreadful UI, and awful AI. Oh, God. I'll say a prayer for Elder Scrolls 6. I think this is an interesting sentiment I'm actually seeing pop up, which is people saying that they hate Starfield so much it's tainting their hype for the Elder Scrolls 6. Now, part of what I wanted to do here is I actually decided to pull up the Steam database ratings for Skyrim, because not only is Skyrim one of the highest selling games of all time, obviously, I mean, pretty much everybody's bought like 5 copies of it. I literally have bought Skyrim 5 separate times and beaten it like 20 times. But it's interesting to me that it is still 93% positive. And look at that, 300,000 positive reviews is just absolutely insane. So it is interesting to me that we went from Skyrim and then Fallout 76, Fallout 4 was not particularly loved either. There's been this fascinating stair step downward. It just is such a weird experience to line up the different scores of these games and see them becoming lower and lower rated over the decades, going from Skyrim to Fallout 4 to Fallout 76 and now Starfield. Each one is getting a progressively lower score. Now, I think there is a weird toxic extra part of this. I've heard this term called toxic positivity, and I actually believe in the sentiment. There's like this weird section of gamers that get obsessively mad if you critique something they enjoy, where they can't just say, hey, that's your opinion. There are these weird Xbox people, which is just a small demographic. I'm not claiming this is like 80% of Xbox fans, but there is this weird group of people that are pretty much just searching out anybody who doesn't like Starfield and claiming they're a hack or a shill or a bad person or whatever like that. I see random Twitter accounts. Actually, I wanted to pull up one right here. I saw this just the other day on Twitter, and it seems to have very much angered the internet. But it's Yang Yi, who is, in my opinion, a very nice reviewer in general. I think a lot of times his critiques, his harshest blowback towards games are usually very much him trying to hope the games do better. You know, he's not just trying to tear games down, he is trying to lift them up. And he said, 30 hours in, and I just don't think Starfield is for me. Some fun side quests aside, the main quest, despite a cool twist, feels really boring, repetitive, and fetch questy, and the structure of the overall game and exploration didn't click with me. I'm happy for those who enjoyed it. The space stuff feels like it's determined to be Bethesda open world experience. It doesn't feel like one cohesive place to explore. Everything is so segmented, with so much dead space and menus in between. Starfield spreads itself too thin and loses that Bethesda magic. Not a bad game, just didn't absorb me on that level of path Bethesda games. I can see why some outlets scored it a 7 or an 8, but I can see why the cooler content may have given it a 9 or above. I think it's just fascinating to me to see the fact that this game is not completely busted, but it has stirred up so much debate and conversation. I think the quality of Bethesda is going down. Measurably, the quality of Bethesda is definitely objectively going down. But will that continue? Is the Elder Scrolls 6 in trouble? I don't know. I guess as we currently sit here, I think that Starfield is probably going to improve. They've already rolled out some patches that make it better. Modders are already trying to make the game actually fun. Modders are adding in true space travel where you can actually land on planets yourself instead of just clicking a fast travel button, which I think is incredibly freaking boring. It's interesting to think that the way that Skyrim has evolved for years due to the fan community, and the way that Fallout 4 has been improved by the community for years, I'm hoping that Starfield gets that. I don't think I'm ever going to play Starfield again, but I kind of want to go back to it in like 2 or 3 years and see where is it at? What can people improve? Can they fix the talent trees? Can they actually make the game exciting instead of just amusing? Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. And my extra question of the day is something I actually asked over here on Twitter as well, which is, how do you feel about Starfield being the lowest rated Bethesda game ever? Because I'm still just sort of in a spot where it's difficult to believe it. As a person that grew up with Bethesda games, the fact that their games just keep getting worse is a very strange endeavor. But tell me your thoughts in the comments down below, and please keep dreaming. And like the video and subscribe. I'm supposed to say that. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.